TxStampin, Sharon. On today's video, I'm going to show you 4 cards. Don't panic. I'm going to show you lots of tips and tricks to help you should you decide to purchase the bundle called Colors and Contours. Color and Contours. If you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you. I invite you to subscribe below and then click that little bell. You'll be notified when I upload a video like this or I go live on YouTube. If you currently do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to help you with your Stampin' Up! Supply needs. I'm more than happy to help you place an order, or if you'd like to place one directly, you can go below the video, click that Show More button, and you will find the link to my store. Let's do some cards. I always love it when a new catalog comes out, and I love playing with new toys. So today, we are playing with the stamp set called Color and Contour on page 98 of the new annual catalog. If you live in the United States and you do not have a current catalog, I'm more than happy to send one to you for free. You can request a catalog below the video and I will send it to you. Here's the stamp set. And here are the dies. So many different choices that you have with the scallop dies. And I was pleasantly surprised because I didn't notice that a couple of them have stitching. So that made it even more fun when I started playing. And then here are the dies to cut out the 2 flower images. And then of course we could do a fun border. I'm gonna be showing you tips today to help you should you decide to purchase this bundle from my store. So the first card we're gonna make is like this. Super simple, super easy. I figured out that because this is a 2-step stamp, there's some tricks. So I want to share that with you to help you. But at first I was like, I don't know if I like that. So on this card, I actually colored with markers. So I have all my pieces cut and I'm not even going to go over measurements because I have a free download for you on my blog. You can find that also in the description below the video. Just click the Show More button and then scroll down and you'll see the blog post for today's video so that you can make your card. So I'm going to be using Stays On because I'm using water-based markers. And we don't want the bleeding to happen. If I was to use Stampin Blends, I would get some bleeding when I colored with, if I use Memento ink. So I do have a great video on inks. If you have questions about which inks to use with which coloring tools. So it was really funny when I pulled the stamp set off of my case. This little petal right here, this little bloom stuck to it and I put it on the block and didn't even notice it. So I ended up with it here. And as I was coloring, I was like, that's really weird that it's not attached, but I liked it. It's kind of an abstracty looking stamp set anyway. And it's something new that is happening with the new catalogs. The insert has the images on there. So previously there was like 2 pieces of plastic and it was always such a pain to pull them off. But these are printed on the actual insert itself. So I love that. And I was able to just toss those pieces of plastic. Or I guess acetate is what they were. So we're going to ink up our stamp. Now, I have found when I use Stays On, I need to have a really juicy ink pad because sometimes it can actually tear my cardstock. I don't know if it's just too dry is what I've noticed. But yeah, I have that video that is all about inks and which black ink to use whenever you're using different coloring tools. We need to stamp our sentiment. And now we're going to stamp our sentiment. And while that's drying, I want to give that ink a lot of time to dry. I told you I wasn't going to tell you measurements. This is about 2.5 inches by 5 inches. And I'm simply going to take my snips and I'm just going to do up the middle. Just eyeball it. Don't stress about it being perfect. It takes all the fun out of stamping. I say that straight causes stress. I have said that for years. So we're just gonna pop that out and make a little banner tail with our Magenta Madness. And we're going to place it here on our card base. We're gonna go ahead and add it on with some Seal Plus. Just kind of centering it right there. And then we are going to, I guess we could, let's check our ink. Yep, we're good and dry. So now we're gonna do some coloring. I have my Stampin Write marker. So Stampin Write goes with Stays On. Water-based, Stays On, okay? So we're just gonna quickly color. I've gotten very spoiled using the Stampin Blends for coloring, but these work great too, especially on small little flowers like this. You don't have to worry about it leaving big streak marks or anything like that. You know, for years we have had Stampin Write markers and always loved them, but you know, when something new kid shows up on the block, we like the new kid better and we play with Stampin Blends more, but I enjoy coloring. No matter what the tool is. Stampin' Up came out with some new chalks, and I can't wait to grab those because we had chalks years ago, and I think it's going to be fun to kind of pull those out again and play with those. I'm going to use my Granny Apple Green, and I'm just going to give a little pop of color. These leaves are kind of abstract, like I said, so it's a little hard to decide where do I color, how much do I color. So I just kind of followed the line a little bit, and we're going to give this a little green right here, and that's it. Quick and easy card. So we're going to add this layer. And it is a very, very small little mat. So my cardstock is 3 inches by 4 inches. My mat is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. We're gonna pop this up with some dimensionals. And grab my absolute favorite black matte dots. As you can see, I have gone crazy over using these things. I just think it's like the little black dress. It's just perfect for everything. Okay, so that card's done. There we go. And now let's make this version where I actually use the two-step stamping. I have a piece of basic white that's going to go on the inside. So we'll go ahead and add that since it's in our hand. Like that. I embossed this layer with the, oh gosh, Painted Textures 3D embossing folder. I think that's what that's called. You know, the older I get, the harder it is to remember the names of all this stuff. And because I don't want this layer to fall off or to pop off, I'm going to use some liquid glue to really get down into those embossed areas. And we're going to add this here. We're going to ink up our stamp. These measurements are the exact same as the other card. I just added that basic white layer right there. Stamp our sentiment. Huh, I just realized I forgot to take off the bud, but that's okay. I don't know, it was just kind of funny, and I was like, it's good. I like it. Okay, so checking to make sure everything's dry. And on this one, I didn't color the green. I just used Gorgeous Grape. Whoops, we're stamping, sorry. Where's my stamp? Okay, so see this little bud up here? That's gonna go right there. So that's what I use to line it up. And we're gonna get our Gorgeous Grape ink. And I wanna try something. Nah, we're not gonna do it. We're gonna take a spoon. And we're gonna push some of that ink down. I used to always use a plastic spoon, but I keep breaking them. So I've pulled out an old metal spoon from the cabinet. And we're just going to ink this up. I don't know if I can get my head above the camera. This may be a little, it's very abstract anyway. It does not line up. And so if you don't like that, like I said, your choice is to color it. So there you go. So see what I mean by abstract? It does not fill up the whole image, but that's pretty good. And I liked pushing that ink down because the more I looked at this card, I just felt like it was too much ink. So push that ink down into your ink pad. It's not gonna hurt it. It will come back up because these stamp pads are designed to store upside down, okay? So when I go to close this, that ink is gonna come back to the surface. So I did not hurt my stamp pad. So just in case you were worried about that. So we're gonna add this together. Whoops. And sometimes this strong ink, or this strong adhesive rips my paper. So what I do is make sure it's not on the foam. That seems to be a challenge sometimes. We're gonna go the other way. I'm gonna just really keep my hand up in the air and it's all good. Okay, again with the very small little border. Popping it up with some dimensionals again. And it's done. How about this? Let's do this one. So this time I chose to use the scalloped pieces that came with the dies. And we're going to get our stamp. So see what I mean about the scalloped? I loved that. It's almost like a little frame. And so it just gives it more personality. Loved it. Okay, so let's stamp the flowers. I want to teach you some tricks about these flowers. Oh, we need the ink. So because I'm going to be making 2 cards with these flowers, I want you to see, I don't know if you can see on the camera. Let's see here. What can I point with? So there's an area, well, we'll just stamp and then I'll show you. I think it'll be better. So this is what I was trying to say. It's almost like it's not a complete bud or a complete petal. So keep an eye on that. We're gonna stamp 6 of these. Because we're going to make 2 cards. I'm going to use 3 on each. Okay, so on the first ones, we're coloring, and then on the second one, I'll do the two-step stamping. So I have my gorgeous grape again, and quickly just coloring. And when I come to this funky petal, I just kind of do that. I don't know, I didn't know what to do, but I'm okay with it. Again, this whole set is very abstract looking. Same thing over here, just kind of do that. Next we have Mango Melody, which is a color I hardly ever use. I actually thought I was using Daffodil Delight, and I was like, you know, it's okay. I need to pick other colors to use, but I do have my favorites. So Daffodil Delight is usually the one I grab, but this one was right by it, and so I'm like, okay, it is what it is. Same with Magenta Madness. So the tip that I'm going to share with you is how to line up the dies. Sometimes that's hard to do, and this one was a struggle for me. So I was determined to figure out a tip, and I was like, oh, I have to help people figure this out because I don't want you to be frustrated whenever you purchase anything from me. So that's why I like to teach you how to use it so that you enjoy and don't get frustrated. Okay, I'm just going to take the black Stampin Write marker, and I want to leave some abstract look to that. I'm just going to do this in the center, just to kind of give it that same abstract look. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for these, even though we're going to be doing some stamping, but it needed the same middle part. Okay, so let me just show you my other card so that you understand. Same colors, but more abstract, okay? So we're making these two cards, and we're taking care of our flowers all at one time. So now we're going to get our, so before I ink it, I want you to see, let's find our big area here. So you just kind of turn it until you're happy with it. I'm going to do my best to show you, but see how, so you just keep turning it until you're happy. And with the stamp part, oh golly, I don't know how to point this to you. See, so I'm looking at this double bloom right here, this double petal. That's what I lined it up with, okay? All right, let's get our gorgeous grape. Make sure we got enough ink. And lining up that petal. It's not going to be perfect, so don't stress out if it's not, okay? And the shading of it is very unique, but it turns out really good. So again, focusing on that double petal, it's the only one, okay? So that'll help you remember. So let's clean our stamp. Using my Stampin' Mist and my Stampin' Scrub, my favorite way to clean stamps, because it really dries my stamp quickly and I don't have to worry about it. Next, we're going to use Magenta Madness. We're going to do the same thing. And then I'm going to teach you a tip about cutting out with the dies. Clean it again. Grabbing our Mango Melody. And I turned my stamp. Let me go back. Nope, nope, nope. There it is. Gotta look for that double petal right there. Okay, now let's talk about the dies. So I have my plates already. This is the Stampin' Cut and Emboss that you can find on my website. So I have my platform that is number 1. We put that down first. This is our dies platform, which is number 2. Then we have a cutting plate and another cutting plate. Okay, so let's talk about the dies. See this big thing right here? That's gonna go in that flower that I told you. Well, we kind of stamp, oh, let's do it on this one first, because then you'll see. Remember the flower that we barely put a little bit of ink on? So that just lines up in there, like that. And then I'm gonna use a bit of washi tape just to hold it where I want it. And then we will crank it through. And there you go. Perfect. So now I have all my flowers cut out. This is my stamped, this is my stamped, this is my stamped, and then these are the ones that I colored. We're going to bring our pieces back in. And we're going to add this to the black. And if, you know, like if any of the flowers didn't cut out quite right, so easy to just hide that. So the first one I'm going to put down because I have a little bit of white edge there. I'm just going to add some Seal Plus. And then these two I'm going to pop up with dimensionals. And just like the icing on the cake, we're going to add some more black matte dots. Don't worry, I have another package of these. I put those on my order because I was like, oh, I'm running out. Quick and easy, okay? Now, I know you saw me cutting and all that. That takes a little bit of time. But as far as the assembly work goes, quick and easy. All right, let's put our other one together. So we need to stamp our sentiment. And this one we're going to turn. I love being able to use the same elements, and just by changing this color or turning the card, looks totally different. So you have a little Chad hanging there. And we're at the end of our rope. I'm going to add this to our card base. Okay, and then we're going to do our flowers. Let's look at them, how they all cut out. They did pretty good on this one. So we can put them anywhere we want. Let's put this one down first. Oops, I didn't have enough adhesive. Pop these up with some dimensionals, give it some more personality. Add some black matte dots. So now I've showed you how to use both of the flowers, whether you're coloring, whether you're stamping, to give you such different looks. It's a very versatile stamp set. I hope that you'll take a look at it. And I just want to say, happy stamping, y'all.